What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Venture Crew channel. We're checking out chapter 1113 of One Piece. Grab a snack, grab a drink, grab a bag of popcorn if you need to. Come sit down. Let's take a look at these spoilers because we love spoiling ourselves before we even get to see the visuals. Let's just jump right into it.
You already know what it is, man. Chapter 113. The title is Stalemate. If you guys don't know what a stalemate is, let me tell you what it is really quickly. In a game of chess, usually how you win is called a checkmate, and when somebody has the advantage over somebody. But a stalemate is when the game is at a complete stop, and that is where it is ending. So let's get into the normal color spread. On the cover of within this sentence, it is saying the king is fighting peace. Nico Robin is playing chess, and all chess pieces on the chessboard are the rest of the Straw Hat crew. Chopper is wearing the knight armor. Frankie and Jinbei is wearing the tower custom, and Jinbei is wearing knight armor on top of a tower. Zoro and Sanji are both riding horses and wearing knight armors as well. The bishop is Brook and Usopp. Brook is a magician and Usopp is an archer. Queen is Nami. Obviously, she's sitting on the throne with a crown on her head. And then the king, you already know, Luffy, Gear 5. Robin is grabbing Luffy to move him towards the chessboard. All right, so let's dive in right into the chapter. Wait, actually, one thing. I honestly think that if this was on a spoiler, nobody would have believed it. Like, if this was like just on TikTok, nobody would believe that that was like an actual color spread. That sounds very fan made.
Yeah, because it's like what it's like. It's Robin playing chess, and then the chess
Yeah,
pieces are the Straw Hats. I mean, it it sounds like a symbolic thing where it's like, oh, they're pawns, like that she's like evil. It sounds like a fan. It does sound like a fan made thing, but I could see Oda doing it. I think it's just like a little cool little art kind of thing. Like I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it does sound a little fan made. I do see what you're saying.
yeah. All right then. The chapter starts where the last one ended. What Mars saw at the end of last chapter was a giant tank with Vegapunk's massive head inside. His head still has hair. That actually clears up. A lot of people were saying that it was Eam coming through. A lot of people saying that it was like Jinbei. I thought it was Jinbei that threw a water down, similar to how we transferred Luffy to where the rules were. So
Yeah, and then what was it? The big one though was Vegapunk's brain, which technically is not wrong, but it is quite. I'm assuming it's quite literally just the top half of his head, just cut, and it still has the hair on it. So it's just like his forehead, his giant forehead, pretty much with his brain inside.
mhm. So Mars steps on the Hashin Denden Mushi, but the shell is fake. It's just a normal Denden Mushi. And Mars discovers that inside there is a normal Denden Mushi. Mars starts to panic because he doesn't know where Vegapunk hid the real one. Now we see how all of the people of the world are waiting to see Vegapunk's message. In Syrup Village, we see Kaya, Mary, Nijin, Pielmon, and sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names, and Tamalengi, discussing about Vegapunk and his impact on the medical world. In the Twin Cape Lighthouse, Crocus is listening to Vegapunk's message with Laboon. In Baltimore, the old man mentions that Frankie has become a ship now, which is, that's on his wanted poster, which is not Frankie, it's just the Sunny, which I don't know. I don't even remember how did that happen. Do you remember how that happened? Because
I think it was just it was like a little gag. It was like a little joke because it was what they just saw the ship, the Sunny, and not Frankie. I actually don't. Yeah, I don't actually. Why was that? Why did they do that? I completely I completely forgot.
maybe they was trying to like it was probably just one of the birds that was usually takes the wanted poster just was missed the mark. He was probably right next to it. But moving on, Crocus is listening to Vegapunk's message in Baltimore. The old man mentions that Frankie has become a ship now. We see reactions too in Torino Kingdom, and Hachinosu. We also see reactions of random pirates, no one from the Blackbeard crew and the other islands. So we have no Blackbeard this chapter. I wasn't expecting to see it. We haven't heard from Blackbeard himself since, like, what was it? Him versus the Snake Queen.
What was it? No, no, no. It was him versus Law last, right? Because was he?
Yes,
He
you are
wasn't
right.
on Hachinosu when Garp and Kobe were doing their stuff there, was he? He wasn't there, I'm pretty sure. And then we
No,
know that
he
the
wasn't.
Blackbeard Pirates, what was it? Van Auger and fuck, what's her name? I feel so bad. What's her name? Van Auger and
We
so bad, bro.
we'll
I feel like
figure
I
out.
should know this, bro. I feel like I should. Hold on, hold on. No, no, no. We're figuring this out now, bro.
Don't
I
look it
had
up.
it. I had. It's Katarina Devon. I literally
Katarina
like,
Devon.
bro.
Yes, I was gonna say Gabon, but I'm like that's Pirate Crew. The Pirate King's crew.
Our credibility just hit a major shot, bro. Damn
Hey, yo,
it.
we know our One Piece, y'all. We just y'all ain't know the name too. Y'all ain't even know the name too. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. Time is up, and Vegapunk starts speaking. Mars communicates with the other Gorosei. I'm gonna read this one because we need some context. Mars says, "I have no idea what Vegapunk is about to say, but it is highly possible that he intends to get revenge for Clover and O'Hara." Cut to Bonnie's group. Sanji arrives in time and kicks Nasjuro in the face. Nasjuro turns to the Bakutsu form and bites Sanji. Ooh, the gender piece gonna go crazy tonight. Yeah, it probably is already. Ohimo and Kashi
It
restrain
is.
Nasjuro from both sides. Then Bonnie turns into her giant future form and stomps on Nasjuro. Wow, that was a lot in one small little paragraph. This is big.
Gigant, bro. Bonnie uses gigant.
Bonnie uses Jigan.
Okay, do we think she just went giant, or did she use the Nika-ish future attack again? Do you think?
It was the Nika-ish future. I mean, I don't. Why would she go giant? You know what I mean?
Which is interesting because again, she's doing this with now only just have seeing Luffy. She saw Luffy Gear 5, right? Did she? She saw Gear 5, right? Yeah, she did. Yeah,
She
she
did.
saw Nika. But when she was leaving her island to start her excursion to find Kuma and to get revenge on Vegapunk, after that point, she used that attack on the government nurse lady that was there, and she didn't have any recollection of or any kind of like idea of what Nika looked like, and she just asked for a Nika-ish future from her power, and she was able to use a Gear Third like attack. So this is interesting.
It is very interesting,
She's probably
and
just copying Luffy from the Kizaru fight.
yeah, it's very interesting because the girls say this arc has been getting jumped a lot. Like just all that and like Sanji coming through and kicking nuts Jerome and then getting folded and then Bonnie coming through and just stomping on him. You know, he's not the first one to get jumped. We've seen what happened to Saturn, Pancake Saturn. All right, let's get back to the story. Let's get back to the story. So back to Vegapunk's message. Vegapunk explains that he has committed two great sins, but he doesn't say what those sins are in the chapter. We already know by speculation that one of them probably is the creation of the Mother Flame, and we would probably expect that another one is what he did to people on Ohara, but maybe it's something completely different. But let's continue. Meaning he will end up captured or killed for that reason. He set this broadcast to start when his heart stopped beating, which we already know. Cut to reactions from people all over the world to Vegapunk's death. We see Caesar and Judge in Germa Kingdom. Caesar is crying, saying he worked so hard to bring Vegapunk down, but just could not get it. Which we already knew Caesar wasn't like getting Vegapunk. Man, come on. Near Sabodi, we can hear Duval in his base. He's confused about why Vegapunk is dead when the morning news said that he had the Straw Hats hostage. Well, he was the Straw Hats hostage. You know, You know how they like to flip the narrative in the One Piece world. What was you gonna say, Tony?
I'm just thinking with the Caesar thing. Do you think Caesar is like he's like sad that he's like, oh, I spent so much time trying to bring Vegapunk down, but I didn't realize how much I actually cared about him as a fellow mad scientist? Or do you think he's just mad he wasn't the one to do it?
I think it was more so of like a Goku Vegeta moment, you know. He was mad about like the fellow mad scientist kind of thing.
I think it could be that, but considering how evil he is, it could just be he wanted to be the one to kill Vegapunk.
Mm.
Or at least bring him down in a sense. Get him killed. Maybe not kill him directly, but get him killed.
Yeah, maybe. Well, let's move on. In the World Economy newspaper's headquarters, we see Morgans. He is very angry. Morgan says that this kind of broadcast will be the end of the newspaper business. You know, Vegapunk casually just releasing the internet 2024 or wherever One Piece is set. While all these characters, Vegapunk's message continues. While we see all these characters, Vegapunk's message continues. Vegapunk says, whoever ends up killing me, I don't blame them as being quote unquote evil. I will not label anyone as quote unquote good or evil, since I don't understand him enough to do so. Cut to Nami's group. Saturn reaches the cloud where they are. Robin hears Saturn's voice and becomes frozen in shock because she recognizes the voice that she heard at Hohara. We can see a flashback of that moment. That's pretty big. We did know that not Nami, Robin did hear the girl say, like, deliver that Buster call.
Man, Robin cannot catch a break with this PTSD, this art. Oh
It's a
man,
lot.
it's been bad for her. But that's cool though. She recognizes Saturn. It has more of a dynamic, not necessarily a dynamic. It's not like they've directly interacted in that sense, but that is cool to see. So yeah, let's keep going.
Saturn says Nico Robin, the woman that Akainu failed to wipe out. Nami says everyone protect Robin. Brooke cuts off one of Saturn's legs.
Ooh,
Usopp
cool.
shoots an explosive bullet. Nami pulls Robin away while she uses Saturn's legs, and Chopper uses guard point to protect all of them. Wow, this is two Gorosei in one chapter just getting absolutely jumped. Man, this actually has me wonder, why was Luffy's Gear Fourth Red Rock, a move that took down Kaido, knocked him on his back, something that didn't even phase one of the Gorosei, but Brook can easily cut off one of Saturn's legs, and Usopp shoots an explosive bullet and knocks him down. What do you think about that?
Okay, so what if there's just a weakness to swords in general? Because remember, Bonnie used the katana on Saturn and was able to pierce him. So now we have Brook was able to cut was it Nostro's one of his legs?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it depends because that's a skeleton horse, which is probably a lot easier to amputate, just kind of break the bones of it. Which actually, now that you think about it, that's a really good matchup. Brook versus Nostro, two skeletons. That's pretty cool. But besides the point, right? I wonder what it is directly because Luffy he's able to well that's Gear 5. You can't use Gear 5 as an example because he can just do anything he wants. I'm trying to think of just examples of them attacking the Gorosei. Oh, okay, there we go. Dorian Bragi cut Jupiter. If you've watched the Sandworm video, you would know
Mm-hmm.
that. Unless you read of course, if you read the chapter, you would know that too. But I talked about that in the Sandworm video. But they cut him into two pieces, right? They're able to cut through. I wonder if there's something about like just blunt attacks that does not phase them as much. Like if there's something there where it's kind of like a like shock absorption, kind of like that, where it's like the harder you get hit, the more they're protected by whatever it is that's protecting them. Because that would explain why Saturn's able to tank those, even from Gear 5 to tank those hits. obviously Toon Force will manipulate his body, but he's tanking those heavy hits. I wonder if there's something where using like a sword, like a slash attack, is different from a smash attack, basically.
Yeah, I think maybe. Well, we always know that slicing in One Piece is more effective against damage. I mean, look at what Sora did to Kaido, you know.
Yeah.
But we should continue. Cut to Mars again. He's talking with the other Gorosei about what they should do now. Mars says, "What would happen if I just destroy the power plant?" And Saturn says, "Don't do it. We could care less if it ends up wiping out all the battleships and the soldiers surrounding the island. But," Top Man says, "it would mean no one would ever be able to create another Mother Flame." Wow, this actually coincides with what we predicted, that not only are they trying to, the reason why they wouldn't destroy just the whole island with what they did with Lelouch is because of how much information there is in this island.
Do
And
we
then the,
think it's simply because of Punk Records? Like, well, no, because what? Did York build the Mother Flame, or was it actually Vegapunk?
it was probably most likely Vegapunk, but she just knows how to do it because she was probably programmed to
I
do
wonder
that.
if he was trying to get rid of the knowledge of how to make it, and then York still had it, which could also still tie into her cutting herself off from the network to where
Yeah,
she wouldn't know about, like, she'd still have that information, but it would explain why she wouldn't know about the recording, maybe. So she can build the Mother Flame. She didn't know about this whole plan about the Dead Man Switch, if that makes sense. Because
yeah.
she cut herself off. So she was just there in time before he removes the data for the Mother Flame. He probably was like, you know what, this is evil. No one should ever know how to do this. I'm just going to completely wipe this from my memory and the satellites. But she had already cut herself off because she was already in the talks with the Gorosei at the time.
I also do believe that Vegapunk knew that this all would happen. Like, obviously, if he knows he's going to die, he knows that one of his own is probably going to betray him. So he had stuff in planned for that.
Well, I actually think the implication there in his line of that he may not understand him, whoever it is that decides to kill him, I think it's more so he was not expecting to get killed by someone he knew. He was expecting to just kill. He was expecting to get killed by like maybe a random assassin like Lucci. He wasn't expecting it to be someone he actually understood and knew, like Kizaru. That's like the tragic part of it, because it's
Mhm.
Kizaru killed him. Vegapunk's dead. Kizaru killed him, right? And then we see how heavily that affected Kizaru, where he's like, I'm out, I'm tired, I don't want to fight anymore, I'm done. And it seems the sad part about this is Vegapunk genuinely wasn't expecting anyone close to him to betray him like that and kill him. He was expecting it to just be some random. If I'm reading that right, he was expecting it to
Well,
be a random guy.
it also could be because that depends if this recording is based off of all of the knowledge he knows to present date. This could be pre-recorded for all we know.
I think this was when either the breach with CP0 was initially happening, or it was right after the phone call with Dragon, or even before then. Maybe he's already had this for a while. Because we're not really sure when this took place. Because also last chapter, what? York leading Mars to the room. She knew where it was filmed, but it did look like that room was like long abandoned. If I'm remembering the panel correctly, I'm pretty sure that room did look a bit abandoned. Let me actually pull it up on Shonen Jump just to verify, because I remember
It did look abandoned.
it looked dark, which you could say like, okay, that's just a dark room that they're not using it anymore. But considering how bright and vibrant Egghead is, this could have been from any point in time.
I could just see that Vegapunk is the smartest human on Earth, on the planet. We already he had contingent. We already knew he had contingency plans for if they was going to try to destroy the whole Vega Force and the Vegapunk area. That's why it's in Kamabaka Kingdom. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, okay. So it looks like the room was it looks just as it did in the video, but it still. it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for this to have been done present date, I would say, simply because again in the video he's saying that he's not really aware who's going to do it and that
Hmm.
he's not too worried about who's going to kill him because it's what he thinks he deserves, right? So, yeah, it could have been at any point in time. I don't think that's as big of a deal as where is the broadcast coming from, which I'm still pretty sure it's Kamabaka. That just makes sense. It makes sense why he felt the need to talk to Dragon about it. He was like, "Hey, by the way, this is gonna go off soon, so just be ready." Right? I think that's kind of how the conversation went, because we didn't actually get to see the full conversation. It was just the cutoff. It was like to be continued after that point. Oh, I think I'm
Hmm.
gonna die, and then we got the flashback.
Yeah, that yeah makes just a whole lot of sense. But let's let's dive into where the chapter ends. The chapter ends with these Vegapunk's shocking words. While we have a view of the sea with a small egghead island in the distance, Vegapunk says, "What I'm about to say might sound absurd. Many will laugh at me, but everyone has the right." Let's begin with the conclusion. This world will sink into the sea. In the last panel of the chapter, we see a picture of the seafloor where some mermaids are swimming with fishes and whales. End of the chapter. Break next week for Japanese Golden Week. Wow. What I'm taking from this is that that's just the conclusion, obviously, of what's going on. But I think during his whole Vegapunk final speech that's going to be heard around the internet, this is going to start from conclusion all the way down to the beginning.
Hmm. Oh wait, oh, I see what you're saying. Because he's saying, and the world will sink, and maybe here's why, and then he explains
Yes.
it. Okay. Okay, yeah. I think obviously he's gonna finish what Clover said and was going to say before he got shot in O'Hara. He's gonna finish that sentence. I think
I
that
can't
just
wait.
lines up because they're
Mhm.
already implying it. Like you got the Grosse saying, "Hey, he's probably trying to get revenge for O'Hara. Just be aware of that." And yeah, that makes sense. The build up for that is there. We learned that he has a connection with Clover, that they were great friends. He's gonna be like, "Here's the name of the ancient kingdom." He's not gonna say it like that, but basically, we're gonna get the name of the ancient kingdom most likely. So that would finish the sentence from Clover.
Mhm.
We're gonna get probably an explanation of Enies Lobby, the hole in the world, again, because with the world sinking, and we saw with Lucia when that got blown up and the hole was created, the sea levels rose, which would be the world sinking in on itself. I think we'll understand the science a bit more of that. That would make sense from Vegapunk's part, him being the scientist. He'd give us maybe the math of that. And then other than that, I mean, this conversation could go anywhere. We could hear more stuff about the Buccaneers. We could hear Joy Boy. We could even get an Eam like reaction panel, whether or not it'll be Eam's face reveal, which is
I
debatable because if we're getting it in the anime soon, it would make sense to get it in the chapters too, which you've been saying.
yeah, I'd say this. I think I might understand why the he says the world will be sinking is because we know that when from it's actually confirmed from the anime and the manga when they used the mother flame on the Lucia Kingdom after it was finished, sea levels rose. Now, that's one island. Luffy is going to destroy the red line across the entire world, supposedly. And when that happens, what do you think a small island compared to the red line, the damage that it's going to, the permanent damage that it's going to do on the One Piece world is going to be insane.
I know what the Noah is for.
Yeah, it's to, because the Noah's,
There's gonna be a
may not
world
seem like
flood,
it.
bro. It's gonna reset the world, bro.
Yeah, it may
Which
not seem like it, but it's similar to the Bible stories. There's going to be a world flood, and they're going to get all the races to fit in a huge ship, maybe, or a huge whale or whatnot, and then they're going to watch as the waves pass by, and when everything settles, that's when the new world is going to be. That's when the new world is going to be revealed
I got it, bro. I think I got it.
with brand
So
new
there's
villains.
already the theories, right, going around that there's been multiple resets in the One Piece world already where they've messed with the sea levels. I think it's like something with the axis of the Earth, right? So what
Mhm.
if Joy Boy was trying to prevent the destruction of the rest of that whatever generation he was in by building or having the Noah built and saying, "Hey, if Eam tries to do a reset, another reset, whether it's the first one, whether like it could be anything, right? Don't let it happen, or at least don't let yourselves get killed. Here's the Noah." But since then, Eam hasn't attempted a reset. So that would
Mm.
explain why the Noah's still there. It's there to take them to safety after the whole world sinks in on itself, and they can float around on the Earth and wait for it to settle down and create anew.
I'm thinking similar to how when you put your hand in the water that is filled halfway, the water levels rise, obviously.
Yeah,
When you destroy the red line, it will obviously create a huge it'll create a huge wave, and it'll create a huge just huge destruction in the world because all of that stuff is sinking below.
yeah, just the volume of it.
Similar to what happens to when an ice, like a piece of tip of an iceberg, falls in the water. A whole, we feel that. So I'm thinking after all of that, the sea levels are going to rise lower to an all-time low, and we're going to get all of the ancient kingdoms that were destroyed or just lost in time, and that's going to be a whole other ball game.
Interesting. But yeah, I think just to make it more clear, the Noah's Ark is in preparation for this cleansing, this big flood caused by the red line or anything really, just the sea levels rising to combat that a bit, probably in relation to a reset, right? And
I do understand.
it's
That might
crazy
be-
because there's just so many ways you can interpret that as whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing that this is happening. Is it meant to be? Is it prophecy that he studied, or is it, hey, this is what the world government's getting up to. This is what the weapon I built can do. They're probably gonna use it here. So oh, there you go. He's expecting them to use it on Egghead, and he's like, that would make sense, right? Hey, the sea levels are going to rise and the world is going to sink because they're about to use it again, or at least he thinks they're going to, because maybe he doesn't know that they already blew off some of their fuel or whatever fuel they had at the time on Leloucha. So maybe they don't have as much because they wasted it there. I don't know. I think I'm just trying to make it work. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's hard to tell because sometimes you need those panels for context.
Well, we can.
Yeah, we'll have to cut it.
Well, folks, it's about that time. We appreciate your presence. And yeah, sub to the podcast if you liked it. If you enjoyed it, give us a like. If you didn't, give us a dislike. We love honesty.
And if you made it this far, comment like cookie or something. I don't know. Something. Appreciate it.
Comment Niku if you made it this far into the video, or I love meat if you made it this far in the video. We'll give you a like.
Just do
Maybe
it.
shout you out next video.
It
No,
costs you literally nothing.
we're a small
But
channel, you know.
stay tuned. We're gonna come out with the chapter review once we get the scans at the very latest, and we'll do a more structured video on that. But for now, this is the general discussion. You have the idea of the chapter. Let's see what happens from here. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time.